if you're owning a business and you don't make a curb for me, you can. Hey, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 cons of being in a wheelchair. I'm talking about sprinklers, stairs, curbs, you name it, I've got it. All right, let's check them out. Sprinklers. Now, this is not exactly an obvious one, but I cannot count how many times I've been strolling on a sidewalk and somebody's got their sprinklers on during the day or during the night, and my phone's on my lap and it gets wet. Now, a lot of people, you know, if you're walking on the sidewalk, yeah, that's an issue for you guys as well. But, you know, you guys can walk in the grass pretty easily. I can't, so I'm kind of stuck there. What do I do? Luckily, I can jump curbs, so I kind of go around the streetway, and, you know, it works, but then I have to get back on and find a curb to either jump or find a curb that has a way for a wheelchair to get on. Either way, I'm also in traffic if I'm on the street, so yeah, it can definitely be a big issue. But anyway, yeah, sprinklers, they're evil. Curbs. Now, I mentioned a little bit about that in my sprinkler spiel, and curbs can be an issue. Luckily, I can jump them, but I'd rather not if I didn't have to, you know. It can be some ups and downs there. I mean, curbs they're fairly easy to jump, but they're kind of still an annoyance, you know. So it's a bit of an issue. Luckily, like I said, I don't have too much of a problem with them. But if you don't know how to do wheelies and jump curbs and things like that, then you definitely understand how much a pain in the butt it is. And yeah, I mean, you know, what can I say? It's pretty disheartening for those who can't jump them, and pain in the butt for me, even though I can. So it's a lot to deal with. But you know, what do you do? Changing tires. Now, this is an obvious one. I have tires, they're gonna wear out, just like car tires. And I actually do a lot of running around in my wheelchair. I even go up a lot of hills, so I get my muscles. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that can be a challenge, because it can cost money to get new tires, and you know, that can be a hassle, especially with insurance and that kind of thing. I don't have air tires. They're actually rubber filled, which is really, really good. So I don't have to worry about my tires getting popped. But they will go bald, they will wear out. And so it's kind of a maintenance issue there. And it's just something that I, you know, every now and then I have to get them changed. So it's a downside, but it's just part of my life, and I deal with it. Breakdown. I do get a lot of breakdown on my chair, mostly the brakes, just because my tires will go bald and I'll have to readjust them if I want them to actually work. But I've also had my wheels fall off, well, my front wheels. Actually, my back wheels too. I've had one of the bigger wheels, actually, if somebody's reassembling my chair after getting it out of a trunk or something, then if they don't like hook it in right, then it falls off. And I've actually had that happen and fallen, and it kind of sucks. But the smaller wheels up front are very vulnerable, and so, you know, a lot of times they'll just fall off. One time I was actually going to a Lindsey Stirling concert, and on the way there I was strolling along the street and one of the wheels fell off, and I couldn't find it, and I actually just went to the concert with 3 wheels. Now, on 3 wheels I can actually handle myself pretty well, and you wouldn't think so, but it actually handles well on just 3 wheels until I can get it fixed. So I've gone like a week or 2 on 3 wheels before, and it sounds crazy, but it's doable. So yeah, it's definitely an issue. Breakdown happens. Again, one of those things that I live with. grass, sand, and snow. These are particularly a pain in the butt, especially snow. I hate snow. I live in Utah, it snows in the winter, and sometimes I just cannot believe how I survive here. So it's crazy. Not a whole lot of sand here, but if I'm, you know, visiting the coast, it can be an issue. Grass is actually the best of the three, and gravel I can do pretty well. Those are okay, but it's still a lot harder to travel those other than sidewalk. And so yeah, it just depends on the terrain. I got really good upper body strength, but even in snow, like snow is really wet and slick, and so you can like easily get yourself stuck in it. And for those who've, you know, driven in deep snow and gotten stuck, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's the same principle, and it sucks. So that is definitely not a fun thing in a wheelchair. Running over toes. And yes, it has happened a lot. I don't mean to do it. It happens on accident, but I will run over your toes if you're too close to me. It happens a lot. And so when I was in high school, some people were really stupid. They would put their feet right in front of my chair just to see how bad it would hurt if I ran it over. And they always regretted it. I mean, it's not fun, so don't try it. And even sometimes, like, not just running over toes, but accidentally people in general, I do a lot better with that. I got pretty good control over my chair. But there's been a time or two where there's been an accident, and I won't go into that, but yeah, one time there was a huge crowd coming my way, and I was going their way, and I like was right in the middle of them like a tank, and they just started going around me like parting the Red Sea. And there was actually a pastor that I almost ran over, and I felt really bad. But yeah, running over toes and running over people is a real thing. It's a downside for you more than me, because I get a good laugh out of it, but you know, it is a downside. So, you know, what do you do? Getting dressed. I don't get dressed in my wheelchair like a lot of you probably would imagine. I prefer getting on the ground, and then I can actually reach down towards my feet pretty well to get my pants on, and getting a shirt on is just easy since I got normal upper body strength. I can get a shirt on just like everybody else, or take it off, or whatever. The pants are the real issue, and so I can get those on, but it's a little bit harder. And maybe I'll do a video in the future about that and show you guys if you'd like. But that's how I get dressed. Socks and shoes. I can reach my feet pretty well, so that's not a big issue. And so it's not too hard, but it is a little bit different for me. And yeah, another downside. The in and out wheelchair transfer. Now there's different types. There's like ones from one seat to another, or from a car to my chair, or from a seat to my chair, or from the ground to my chair. And all of them are, you know, the basic principle of just having good upper body strength. And that's what I use. So if I'm like in a car, for example, I can do one hand on my seat, one hand on my chair armrest, and then hoist myself up with my muscles on my arms and transfer. Or if I'm on the ground, I can grab one of the bars up front of my chair and use my other hand to, you know, put it on the floor and then lift me and then get in that way. And I can actually do a video on that too if you guys like to see it, you know, on a couple of these transfers. So maybe I will if that's something you guys want to request. But yeah, it's okay. I can do it pretty well, but it can be kind of a hassle. It just depends, I guess, on the day. But just one of those things you have to deal with in a wheelchair. putting a chair in a car trunk or in the back of the seat. Now this isn't really a downside for me, it's a downside for my friends. Say I'm like, you know, going out with my friends and one of my buddies picks me up. The first time they put my chair in a trunk or a chair, it can be kind of a hassle because they're confused. So they'll have to take both of the big wheels off, and then they'll have to pull a cord in the back and fold the back part of the seat down, and then the seat cushion that I sit on comes off. And so there's a lot of stuff to it, and it can be a hassle for anybody who's doing it first time, or even the first few times. It can be kind of a pain for people. And then, you know, like I said, I mean, I don't have to deal with it as much unless I'm the one putting it in, but I already know how to do all of that stuff, so it's not a big deal to me. It's mostly other people who are just, you know, learning to do it, and so that's a downside really for them. And, you know, that's just something they have to deal with. Stairs. I hate stairs. I cannot tell you how much I hate stairs. It's really just a hate-hate relationship because they hate me too. I hate stairs. Did I mention how much I hate stairs? Alright, here's the issue with stairs. I absolutely have no way to get up them unless there's a rail on the side of the stairs. And even then I would have to put like a seatbelt on my chair and then hoist myself, which would take a ton of energy. I can go downstairs, I've done that before, a few of them, but if you're talking like, you know, a 100-step spiral staircase, that's just impossible. And so they really, it's a biggest pain in the butt ever. Usually I'll have a guy up front of my chair and a guy on the back of my chair lift my chair up, and then they'll carry my chair up some stairs if I need to. And I've got some good friends that'll do that for me, which is really cool. But yeah, other than that, the only way to get up some of these stairs is just to take an elevator. And some places just don't have them. So it is a real issue. It's probably my biggest issue that I have with being in a wheelchair. And what can I say? There's absolutely sometimes no way around stairs, and it's a big hassle. So what do I think about all this? Well, I got a pretty good attitude, and you know, sometimes it's a little aggravating, but most of the time I do pretty well and can find a way to solve my problem. And I also have good friends and family that'll help out with whatever, so it's not so bad. But, you know, I mean, under the circumstances, if you're owning a business and you don't make a curb for me, you can. Well, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next vlog.